G'day mate, my name's Margie and I'm an Australian currently living in America. Today's video is going to be a breakdown of Bluey Season 3 episode Family Meeting. We've only got a few episodes left, unfortunately, for this season, but I do plan on also breaking down the previous Christmas episodes, as well as if there is a Christmas episode this year, I will be breaking that down too. And then in the new year, I plan on going back and going through season 1 and 2 and doing some other Bluey related content. But I do also do Australia versus American content as well. So if either of those two things interest you, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below so you stay up to date. Hit that notification bell as well so you see whenever I bring out new videos. I'm also an author of the children's book, My Santa, Your Santa, and that link will be in the description box down below as well as in the comments. If you have the chance to check that out, I really appreciate it. But otherwise, let's just get straight into it with the synopsis. Family meeting. When Dad's accused of fluffing in Bluey's face as he climbed out of bed, he's put on trial with Mum as the judge and Bluey and Bingo as witnesses. But what was Bluey doing there? This was, I think, a really funny episode. We'd seen clips of it from the trailer as well, so we know that that's where they'd pulled this scene from. But overall, I would say that it's a very family-centric episode, but I do think it's really funny and I would still rate it above Housework. Our first scene, we're starting off in the kitchen. The girls are basically accusing Bandit of farting, and we get a lot of different synonyms for farting. Blew off, baking a brownie, fluffy, all those sort of things. It reminds me a lot of, like, as a child, there was a saying like, let Fluffy off the chain, which I think is like a funny dog saying about farting. So I love that they use the word fluff or fluffy or fluffied a lot in this episode. I think that's a kind of funny callback to sayings we used to say as a kid. Now, we see Bingo being a little aggressive here. So it's kind of like a bit of a shout out to, I guess, old school parenting with the wooden spoon where you used to whack your kids with it. But instead, in this one, Bingo wants Chili to whack Bandit, and she's like, no, this is just for me to be a judge in family meeting. So I think it's quite funny that like they included that little part with Bingo in the scene. Also, I love the fact that Bluey, we can see, is eating Vegemite on toast. True blue Australian. Now, for the intro title card, we have Chili narrating it again. She's actually narrated quite a few for this season, so I think that's really interesting. We haven't really heard anything from Bandit, so maybe in the last few episodes we might. Now, I do love that Chili has the curlers in her hair to replicate looking like a judge's wig. When we saw this initially in the trailer, I remember we're looking through it and we're like, oh, is she like going somewhere? Like, what's going on? But it makes a lot more sense now that she just wants to look like a Supreme Court judge, basically. We then also get to see our first Easter egg, which is the tennis ball. It's just down there in the corner next to the basket on the ground. Now, Chili makes a point of saying that everyone has to use the word fluffy when talking about dads, fluffies, or farting. I feel like this is a big callback to the episode Dunny, because she doesn't seem to really like using toilet-based words. So she doesn't like them using Dunny. She wants them to use toilet. She doesn't like them using the word fart. She wants them to use the word fluffy. So I feel like this is a part of Chili's personality that we're finding out more about. Now, as we see the girls sort of creating a reenactment scene, we get like a box of toys, and I am almost 100% sure that that little pink toy in there is a pink long dog. So that would be our second Easter egg for the episode. You get a few other different shots where you can sort of see the box at different angles. I'm 99.9% sure that it's a long dog, but let me know what you think down below. Do you think it's a long dog as well? Now, it is quite funny that they picked the skunk to be Bandit because, of course, they're accusing Bandit of farting and smelling bad. Skunks smell bad, so that's a cute little reference. And then I think we also get a Family Guy reference. So they do like this flashback scene that looks a lot like the flashback scenes you see in Family Guy. And then, of course, we also have the very traditional dad joke of pull my finger, because if you pull your finger, it makes them fart. And of course, they're in an elevator where they're stuck. So I love that they include this kind of dad joke humor as well. But yeah, I also definitely think a Family Guy reference. Bluey then goes through all the different food that Bandit has eaten previously to this incident. And there's quite a lot of like sort of Easter eggs and callbacks in this one, as well as Aussie references. So the very first one is baked beans on wheat toast. So baked beans, I think, is a very Aussie, New Zealand / British food for breakfast, basically. I had it a lot growing up, having baked beans on usually like thick white toast with butter, but wheat toast is healthy, good on Bandit. So again, a bit of an Aussie reference to food. For category B, we have the sauerkraut. So we heard more about this with Bandit's issues with sauerkraut in the episode Chicken Rat. So where we see him eating it, and they actually edited this part in both Australia and on Disney Junior and Disney Plus. Depending where you watch it, you'll get slightly different scenes, but in one of them, They say that it makes him sneeze because he's allergic to it, but then they change it and he just makes him burpy or gassy. So it's interesting. I think they changed it from the allergy thing because they didn't want to encourage children to eat things that they were allergic to. That's why they changed it initially. But yeah, we know that sauerkraut and bandit do not go well together. We then get a reference to Indy and her family and a throwback to the episode Markets, where we learn that Indy and her family are vegan, that they have very like sort of a lot of food restrictions. So it's quite nice to know that like they still go over there for dinner and Bandit still ate the vegan food even though it didn't fill him up. And we find out that he went to a petrol station. So in Australia, we say petrol station or servo for short, service station. In America, I know you say gas station. Something interesting to note though is usually at petrol stations in Australia, if you get a pie, it's the 4 and 20 pies. They come in like plastic wrap. They don't actually come in the tins. The tins are what you usually see at a bakery. So just like a minor little itty bitty detail, but also a reference to Aussie food yet again. Now, as we move into the next scenes, we sort of get into the real like meaning of the episode, and that is that fibbing or lying is really bad and that the truth will set you free. I think there's been a couple of other references about religion in Bluey before, but this is the first major one that I really recognized. The truth will set you free is a quote from the Bible from Jesus Christ. So maybe Chili's religious. We then get a little bit more information about the situation. So they talk about how when they move furniture or move a table, it makes like this like or possible farting noise. And this will be a callback a little bit later on in the episode. So we sort of find out then that like that's not what happened. It was actually Bandit getting out, and we get this montage of him running through the house, ending again with a scene that we saw from the trailer with them jumping out from the veranda onto the ground and the girls tackling him. We then get sort of, you know, a bit more bum jokes. I really like this one. Her face is at bum level. It's hard not to. I think that's really funny, and I definitely feel like I'm probably going to use that at some stage. And then Bandit also, whilst sort of talking about this, makes a joke about the fact that like, oh, mums don't fart or girls don't fart, which I feel like is a very common trope, which obviously is wrong. We're all human beings. It happens to all of us. We all fluffy. Chili then delivers her verdict and sentences them to an hour of playing Horsey Ride, which of course is a callback to the episode Horsey Ride, where Stripe and Bandit both had to play horsies for the girls. And then it comes full circle again with the idea of the truth will set you free. And Bluey then also has to confess as to why she was even in the room in the first place. And her mum gets upset and then finally calls her full name, Bluey Christine Healer. Now, we saw this in the Pass the Parcel episode this season, that she had a middle name starting with C. A lot of people guessed that it was going to be Chris, because that's the name of her nana in the show. But Chris is also the name of Joe Brum's mum. So Joe Brum is the creator of the show. His mum, Chris, also voices Nana in the show. So it's just a lot going on, but basically Chris is Christine. So this is a call out to Joe Brum's mum, the voice actor of Nana, Bluey's Nana in the show. So I think that's really beautiful that they did that. Now, I had to go back and rewatch this with the subtitles on, because all we hear is like the movement of the chair on the ground, and the subtitles don't say anything. They just say that she knocks the spoon on the table. But the joke is, though, that we've learnt that, like, when they say they're moving furniture, it makes the same sound as farting, and that's what we assume it is. So in this situation, Chili, of course, is freaking out, trying to get them out of the room, like, move, 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 move. And that's when we find out that, oh, it smells really bad, and then they find out that mum fluffied. So I think that's really funny that, again, the joke came full circle, everything else came full circle, and even mum didn't want to admit that she fluffied. So even the truth didn't set her free because she didn't want to tell the truth. So I think it's really funny to show that, like, you know, both parents and children will both act the same way sometimes, especially when it comes to toilet issues or toilet humor. Now, overall, this is actually something really interesting, the idea of toilet humor in Bluey. So this is the first time we've seen it really in season 3. We have seen it in previous season 1 and 2, where they've talked about doing bush wees or the little Pippi at the beach doing a wee wee. They've said the wet poo and fart, I think, before as well, or stinky farts, things like that. There was actually a lot of complaints from people watching it on Disney about these words and children using them. So I think this might be Ludo's way of fixing that, I guess. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. Those are the words that we use in real life. Children should learn those words as well. there's a lot of debate about like what kind of words kids should learn, and I think they should learn the real words, and there's nothing wrong with that. I would say though, this episode for me definitely it falls like mid-tier for the season. I would say it's a little bit above like Housework and Tina for sure. I liked some of the references to previous episodes and to Aussie foods, and that we had both of the Easter eggs, the long dog and the tennis ball in it. So yeah, I'd say maybe just a little bit higher than mid-tier. This one would fall for me. But let me know in the comments down below, what did you think about this episode? Where does it fall for you in this season? Is it your top 10? Is it your bottom 10? Is it in the middle as well? Make sure to come back tomorrow for more breakdowns. We've only got a few episodes left, but I will be doing more content for Christmas as well as in the new year as well for Bluey. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. And as well, that big like button. I really appreciate it, and it helps the YouTube algorithm also like my videos as well. So I really appreciate that too. And I'll see you guys in another video. Mwah! Bye!